Tom wants to talk about is there other beings in the universe?
Are there other beings in the universe?
Yeah.
Are we really alone?
Said the fallen angels had sex with earth women and made giants, so I guess. I don't know. Depending on if you believe the Bible or not, I reckon.
Funny, you said that. We were just discussing that on the board. Was it Peter who told him to take one of my beautiful daughters?
Peter?
Who was it? Somebody in the Bible told him to take it.
Lot?
Huh?
Lot? Sodom and Gomorrah?
Might have been a lot. I don't know. Oh, right. I thought it was Peter. It was Lot.
Lot had sex with his daughters. His daughters got him drunk and they each had sex with him.
Peter told brother.
From Chilton County, huh?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's news for me. Told him to take one of my beautiful daughters.
So, what did we do last week? Anybody remember?
Talked about blasphemy. We talked about his dream. Well, that was the week before. That was Tuesday. Jake's dream.
He does this a lot.
It's kind of scattered around, I think, if I remember right.
He's way off that stuff.
Yeah, I think you stopped and backed up.
You were bored last week, I know.
Take two. I didn't think it was too bored.
I didn't say I was bored. Teacher was bored.
Now, what are y'all getting out of these classes? If anything.
Psychology.
What? Yes, sir?
I'm learning to kind of look inside myself a little deeper, you know.
Okay.
I don't know, just not really analyzing things, but just trying to really find out who I am. You know, what makes me do the things I do.
Because you and I talked last week, right?
Yeah.
What did we talk about? And I asked you something.
Yeah, you
got
asked me
personal.
this week to work on knowing myself.
Okay.
But I still don't have the answers, and I don't even know the questions.
That's a wonderful place to start.
Like I'm there with you.
It's so many times we live our life thinking we got the answers, and we don't know what we don't know, and we're not looking because we don't know.
Well, as far as I look, I don't like what I see, you know. I mean, I've definitely got some areas to change, you know. Just dancing around and ignoring.
I think that those things have to happen, or you never will know. That's part of it.
What has to happen, baby?
You have to live and you have to learn. And if you don't have any living or no learning, you've got nothing to base it on. So, you know, you got to walk down that path and cut your feet on glass to first get there again and say, well, I don't want to go that way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think we don't have to, but we end up doing it.
Right.
Because if we were really rational and really selfish, we would go talk to wise people and do what they say and skip about 40 years of hell.
Going in a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And generally the way we are is we don't begin to ask questions until we're hurt real bad often, several times, because a lot of times when we bump against a wall or things fall off, we go, oh, I want Jesus, or I'll do anything in the world till it starts feeling better, and then we go right back to the same old stuff. Yeah. Let me say, hey, baby. You already oriented?
Yeah.
All right. Come up here. Don't be that. Come up here closer. Quit being a puss.
Come on, Judge. Get on over. I'll come. I'm a little slow.
Well, let me do this again. Okay. The world system. You know, we've heard Paul talks about the world system a lot, and that we don't fight against flesh and blood, but something else, you know. And society, the system would have us imagine those things as these red demons with horns with big long tails, and which I think is a distraction. I don't think that's so. It's very subtle things. And we're taught from get-go a false reality. You know, we've been talking about the fictional person. I mean, we're not, in school we're taught basic, they call them basic shapes, you know? And what are, you remember those, any of those?
Triangle, square,
Yeah.
Sir.
Rectangle, whatever. But perfect squares, perfect circles, perfect rectangles, I won't say would never occur in nature, but that's not nature. Those aren't basic shapes. Those are an idea. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Have any of y'all ever felt disconnected from the world? Just the plastic, neon light. Y'all ever had that feeling? You know? And I think when we're feeling that, our soul is telling us this ain't real. It ain't right. It's flashy and it's exciting and it can maybe hold our attention for a while. But at least for me, there are times I keep coming back to something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And if we're taught or programmed that this is reality, and that's just one little thing. We're taught that legislation is, or laws is, that's true. We're taught that civilization is what it's supposed to be. We're taught history a certain way, and we're taught human beings are certain things. You know, because shapes in nature, what are they? They're like this. You know, spirals and these things. Those are the basic shapes. And I don't want to go through all that stuff again, but basically, my reading of this book says that we've been sold a lie. And we believe the lie. And we're dead. We've been living a fictional existence. Right? And I think that's one thing we talked about. Maybe that was a dream one, but how he was believing that he was his fiction. Do y'all remember that discussion? And we all have that experience at times when maybe it's not even when we're having troubles, but just silent time by yourself, and you go, is this all there is to life? You know what I'm saying? And I think the root of addiction is the will to want to be alive. Right? Because it's not evil. Not the motivation. I think our soul senses this false life that we live, chasing money. You know, the story that we're told, grow up, get a good education so you can get a good job, so you can do it. So you can worship at the Alabama football game or the Rihanna thing or this thing. And we spend 40, 50, 60 years and come to our deathbed and go, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. I think I'm already there.
And I think that's a great place to be.
At least I did realize it, huh?
You know? I mean, I think that's the purpose of time. And finitude, they call it in philosophy, there are limits. Because if there were we were already in what we call eternity, we wouldn't change. I don't know if any of y'all ever went to school, but I usually did my homework right before it's due. You know, some wise people do it a little bit along, and you know, I turned in papers, they were still warm from the inkjet printer thing, or the laser printer, you know. And that voice, that sense, that whatever it is that leads to the thought there ought to be more, that's the real person. That's the soul that I'm talking about. Or at least moving that way. That's the part we very seldom pay attention to. Because we talked about being bored. A lot of times that occurs when we're bored, or that feeling we call bored, or that experience of being bored. And we're so addicted to our senses, we want to be stimulated somehow. Because we want to be alive. Which there's nothing, huh, baby?
Feel something different.
Yeah. Want to feel alive, real. Is that anybody like that? You know what I'm talking about? You know? You know, it's boring shit. It is boring shit. That's why you feel like it. That's why I feel like that when I get there. Because I'm not engaged in living. I'm not engaged in reality. I'm engaged in this pseudo world of made up shapes. And the cool thing about God, the Creator, He don't let us be comfortable forever with made up shapes. God didn't go through all this trouble so we could grow up and get a job and somebody give us some shiny things so we could trade that for a pineapple or a potato or a...
Yeah.
I mean, all that's an illusion. That's just an idea. Money. Is the banker in here? Were you the banker or the other guy?
He's going through the orientation.
I mean, money's a trick.
Exactly.
You know? Especially now the way it's run. They just write 0 ones and zeros on a computer and poof, magic. Right? They don't even have to have gold behind it or, you know. I mean, but even gold and diamonds, that's just rocks. Shapes. Some geometry that got imposed on our soul and treated as though it's real and taught that it was real, so we give it life. Spend a bunch of rocks, or now it's just digital whatever on a piece of magnetic media.
It's like we were talking, that's a lamb. That's a lamb. Yeah. Whatever it's bred into.
And
So like, how do we know if we're like coming alive? You know, like,
Come over to me and smart off right after lunch.
you know what I mean? Like,
if you're on the right track, or what do you mean?
yeah, like we say that we're dead. You know, we're following the system, which is all an illusion. So like, how do we know that if we're starting to become alive, that's not an illusion in itself, like the fiction?
You don't. Till you know it. Because this is what I have people ask me about this and try to explain it.
Too deep.
No. Folks try to get me to explain something that there are no words for. Because even language. Yeah. I mean, if any of y'all speak more than one language, I speak redneck and kind of academic if I need to. But that's about all I. But even in those two languages, if you're studying philosophy and you learn certain terms, like one word you can write 100 pages on, right? And if you don't understand those 100 pages, if I say that word, then it's nothing. But if somebody else says it, or we're talking about it, we can throw that word around and it means there's what am I trying to say?
Don't be facetious.
What other language do you speak? Spanish. In the Spanish language, speaking it or conversing in it, are there words or phrases that mean different things than English? I mean, I don't know, so I don't. When I spent a year in Zimbabwe, I learned some of the Shona terms, and like hello, goodbye, where to the bathroom, that kind of stuff. But there were particular words that had meanings that only meant something there. Does that make, you know what I'm saying? So even when we're talking about this stuff, we're limited by English, and really American English, because the dictionaries are getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
You know?
What about feelings or emotions? That's a little different than words, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And depending on the words we use, that's why a lot of times I'll say ugly words in here, or I will challenge somebody on what does that religious word mean, so that it can be broken open and maybe understood in a different way, because I'm trying to help you guys see and help myself see that a lot of what we do between each other or with each other is we're all behind masks. It's not real. So the point was, I have folks trying to help me, ask me to explain what I'm talking about. There is no way to explain it. Because in the end, somebody or yourself or Jesus or whoever could show you the path, but you got to go. Because there's a point at which there's no words for what I'm talking about. And there's no way to describe it. I was chatting with somebody this morning about, well, she was asking me about this. And about the motivations, why would somebody want to do that? Or has anybody ever seen something in nature, say a sunset? Okay. And then tried to describe it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Waterfalls.
Okay. The description of it, the words about it are not the thing. Right? Okay. Does that make any sense? Okay. But there's a different... Have you ever looked at a waterfall or a sunset and then observed that person? You're observing yourself, observing the sunset. I mean, it'll bend your mind a little bit, but do you understand what I'm talking about? And there's no words to talk to the one that's observing the one observing. But you know it's real. And it's hard. It's hard to, or it's different or weird trying to stay in that place. But that is the place that is beyond our five little senses. That is a place or a thing or us that is beyond ego. Because if I'm observing me, I'm observing my ego or my senses or my whatever.
What if they explain it and there's someone up there on the waterfall observing, you observing, and they observe what you see? Wow.
Probably, yeah. And the one observing all of it's God.
Yeah.
Or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because once you get... Because in that place, when you're observing yourself, nobody hurts you. You're not the sum total of your history. You're separate from all those... Because all the things we feel are just electrical impulses picked up, because there's energy all around us. Right? I mean, this is not spooky or mystical, it's science. Right? We have energy fields around our, because you can kind of sense me there probably, and I'm not even touching you. I mean, there's electrical fields around our body, and we're picking up impulses from everywhere. We've got these waves going in our ear, and we can hear the air conditioner running, and we can perceive light, right? We can taste, we can feel, and all those different kinds of inputs, we can only, hey boy, out of all that is possible, we can only perceive this much of it.
That we could use all of our mind, we can move objects.
Probably, yeah.
Or
And ego is not a bad thing, you know. Where we get tricked is when we are thinking that we are ego and we are our body. I think there's scripture that talks about that stuff, you know. Or we become addicted to feeling sensations. It's basically, the science goes something like, I receive some kind of stimulus through my eyes or my ears or my nose or my whatever, and it sends signals to my brain. My brain then interprets it and then sends out chemicals through my bloodstream which seek out and find receptors. I mean, you know, and then based on how we're programmed, we perceive a certain chemistry in our body as good or bad or whatever.
this is the natural endorphin in our brain, and it's just high.
Or fear. Some folks get off on fear, some folks piss their pants. And it just depends on how it's interpreted.
Right.
I know.
Of course you do.
You like excited and so you stayed up late smoking stuff.
So is love
Stayed
an
excited.
emotion?
Huh?
Is love an emotion?
I don't know, the Greeks have 7 words for love. It depends on what you're talking about.
Is that
Alaska.
What are you talking about? Which one of the 7 words are you meaning?
I don't know what other 7 words there are. But
The action of loving, the feeling of loving.
There's a cliche, eros,
My love.
phileo, agape.
I mean, it's a great question. I think you need to figure out what you're meaning though, what you want to know. So are you just trying to trip me up, or you got a real question?
I'm just wondering.
I think what we call love most of the time is an illusion, yes.
Yeah.
You can't love chocolate and your wife, and your girlfriend, and you crack, and, you know.
So like when you tell somebody you love somebody, is that,
I don't know, depends on who's doing the telling, I guess. You know? And again, if I don't really know myself and I say I love something,
Love is,
what does it mean?
could be love is you.
I love you means you make me feel safe, or you make me feel horny, or you make me, you know.
and those feelings are not real?
Maybe love as you know it.
Biologically, they're real, yeah.
If you don't love, you feel those feelings.
You know, they manifest in this material plane. What, baby? I think that the word care probably is a better word.
Need. Need.
You know, when I did the faith, hope, and love thing a few weeks ago, do y'all remember that? What I care about, I pay attention to. You know, what I love. Yes, sir?
What about in the Bible it says love thy neighbor? I was thinking it's real in the Bible.
Yeah. The word is Greek, so I don't know which Greek word they use. It's all those different words are translated love in English. Love, care is not talking about having warm fuzzies for them, necessarily. Right? Feelings, necessarily. I think it has something to do with taking into account that they are part of me and I'm a part of them, and I have some responsibility to them because they're a part of me. And that would be everybody in the universe. You know? And love sometimes, I mean, Jesus, you think Jesus was loving? Whatever that is. You know, and Jesus would take the little children and let the little children suffer them to come unto me. And
The Bible's definition of love is to be patient, kind, and gentle towards somebody.
there's a bunch more in that chapter.
Yeah, but that's the some of it all.
Cheer.
I was just asking because I think we've misinterpreted it into something completely different than what it is.
Well, if we assume that Jesus was loving, there were times when he made a whip and beat somebody's ass with it.
And I think we made it based on the feeling instead of
They don't come to basement.
the action.
So would that have been loving on Jesus' part?
Tough love.
I think so. No? Yeah, I think you're right. We love chocolate and we love our dog and we love our hookers and we love our this, you know. We just kind of throw that word around.
I would go and look at like,
You just like them, right?
You have to give them to the paycheck.
You're a psychologist, right?
Of a sort, yes, sir.
Okay. When you meet each of us, just naturally, because I've got a friend that's a psychologist, or I had a friend who passed away, but when you meet each of us, you categorize, or you can almost tell us our IQ, you can
Profile.
No, because there's some of you in here that probably I'll never talk to because they don't approach me.
right. But the ones that do approach you and you sit and talk to them, you can pretty much tell at their intelligence level.
Yeah. Or their bullshit level.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's not.
And you don't mean to do it. It's just you do it because that's what you do.
Yeah, but I'm not sitting down.
Right.
Because to tell you the truth, I deal with so many people, I don't give it a whole lot of thought.
But I mean, that's what you were trying to do. That's what you were,
Do I have a high intelligence level?
son.
It depends on what you mean by intelligence. I'm working on raising your wisdom level a little bit. You're plenty smart.
Thanks for that.
You're plenty smart. But smart will get you in trouble sometimes if there's no wisdom.
EQ and IQ.
You know. So yeah. What was I talking about?
I was just wondering, I didn't mean to throw us off.
No, it's fine.
Love.
Agape.
Oh, Jesus beating our ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the whip.
But perhaps if you think, what do I care about? Because the English, we so misuse the English word love, maybe care will give it a little more body to it. If I care about something, I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm going to give it my energy. You know? And if all I'm thinking about is money or this or that, that's what I care about. That's what I love. You know, the love of money is the root of all evil, kind of thing. And so when we're just assuming that I'm somewhat in the ballpark, that we've all been programmed wrong. You know? And that functionally we're slaves. I mean, the Bible calls us he came to redeem the captives, right? I mean, this is nothing different than what's in Scripture, right? Jesus